Hello everybody, Jose Rodriguez back again. We're going to do one more waste ink reset, and this will be on the R2880. Now, when you go to inkchip.net and click on the WIC tab, you will get a humongous list of printer models that are supported for waste ink resetting. In other words, when you reach a point, and at some point it will happen to your regular EPSON printer that has cartridges that write on the printhead. In other words, they do not use a user replaceable waste ink cartridge. They rely on internal pads. Well, those pads will become saturated. There's an internal counter that will reach a certain level. When it reaches maximum, that's it. The printer ceases to operate and you have to reset it. And at that point, we recommend that you then install some sort of external waste ink catcher, whether it is a bottle or a product that you can purchase online. Go ahead and install that, because remember, just because you reset it doesn't mean that you are stopping any further dumping of waste ink into those internal waste ink pads, and they will eventually become saturated. So it's very important that you do that, not just reset it. Sure, resetting will bring your printer back to life, but you need to make sure that you, from that point onward, if you haven't done it from the beginning, you reroute that waste ink. And there is a process for each printer that is supported by this software. And you can look those up. Many videos online and on YouTube showing you how to do that. I have a few of them. I have one for the R2000 and one for the R3000 that shows you how to divert the waste ink collection. So let's get cracking. Let's open up the WIC tool and begin to perform this operation. All right, so we have the WIC tool open. You need to make sure that you are on Windows. You need to make sure that your printer is connected via USB directly to your computer. You have to be on Windows 64 and not 32, okay? Click on the window that says Waste Ink Counters. And here is our printer. We have the 1400 also connected, but we have already done that one. We'll click on that. Now we're just going to simply read the waste ink counters. They're very low still. I still got a long way to go, but for this demonstration, we are going to go ahead and reset it anyway. So let's click away from that. Reset waste ink counters. We have already copied our activation key that you purchased. We'll paste it in place and hit OK. It says, done. Please restart your printer in order to finish the counter reset process. So I'm going to step away and we're going to do that right now. We'll come right back. Okay, I am back now. The printer is rebooting. We're going to go ahead and wait till that happens. We're going to click on the read waste ink counters again. So we are at 0, so that means that the printer has been fully reset. The counters are back to original condition straight out of the box. And of course, like I said, I have an external waste ink catcher. So that is it. You notice it took longer to reboot the printer than it actually took to do this process. And again, if you're having problems, that means you're not doing this correctly. You need to have Windows operating system. It has to be 64-bit. Otherwise, it's just not going to work, folks, okay? On some older type Windows operating systems that are still 32-bit, this may not work, okay? So be sure of that. Now, once you have it reset, say if you have to use another computer, you can then bring it back to your computer and it will be reset still. So be aware of that, and good luck. Bring those printers back to life. Just because it says that some of the parts in your printer have reached the end of their life does not mean that the printer is dead. You can revive it by performing this operation. And again, like I said before, make sure that you install a waste ink catcher. In other words, a bottle, or buy a ready-made container that you can then plug into your waste ink tubes from the side of your printer. Again, there are many instructions online how to do that. So look those up and make sure you do that. Otherwise, eventually it will overflow. Thank you so much for watching. Happy printing, happy resetting. Until the next time, bye-bye, everybody.